Hey everyone, you're watching a commentary on a multiplayer replay of the game Third Age Total War, and this game is a player-created mod for the game Medieval 2 Total War. And as you may be able to guess, the mod is inspired by Lord of the Rings, so basically these players stuck a lot of Lord of the Rings units and characters into the game, which is kind of fun. They even created a single-player campaign, but here basically I was just doing a bunch of fun sort of scenarios with my brother, who's using the sort of player name Gimli just for kicks, and I was using the name Smeagol, so I'll just refer to him as Gimli or refer to his faction, which is Gondor. As you can see, he's just charged a bunch of his knights into my light cavalry, and Gondor's troops are pretty much really nicely armored, all very heavy units. I'm sure you've seen, if you've seen any of the Lord of the Rings films, you'll remember them. They're mainly in the third film, I think, but they're all the guys in the nice shiny steel armor. So let's look at Gimli's army. He has a lot of spear infantry, really heavy guys like Citadel Guard and what are these guys? Fountain Guard. So he's got them lined up in a pretty long line with protecting his flanks. He's also got some Gondor archers there and trebuchets, which are shooting flaming rocks at my troops. Finally, he has some what are these, Pelargir Marines, some sort of javelin throwing lighter Gondor troops, and then his general was in the back. So you can see at the top I was moving some troops around to flank his troops, and at the same time I'm still trying to deal with these knights because they opened the battle by charging in and caused a lot of havoc among my lighter troops of Harad. But here I've also charged in some of my general units who represent my only heavy cavalry unit right now. The Serpent Guard, I think that's what they're called. These guys in red fighting against Gondor's Swan Knights, who are in blue. At the same time, I'm also shooting the knights with my archers with flaming arrows, and so the combination of pelting them with a lot of things and, you know, they're kind of exhausted from fighting so much has finally led them to run. You can see some of my horse archers there shooting, and you can see fire arrows coming from my archers. So basically, I don't think you saw much of Harad in the Lord of the Rings movies, and they aren't mentioned a ton in the books either, from what I can recall. I read them a really long time ago. But I think you only see them actually twice, and that's probably once in the second film and once in the third film. So they're mainly they're kind of a Middle Eastern inspired faction with a lot of horse cavalry, some camel riders, and a lot of lighter units and lighter spears. And so my hope basically is to surround Gondor and shoot them to death, or at least that's the plan. So there you saw, aside from my light troops, I do have one big ace in the hole, and that's these Mumakil elephants. And if you saw the third Lord of the Rings film, you'll most likely remember these guys. They were sort of trampling around on top of everyone in the big climactic battle. And I'm sort of saving them in back because elephants in this game can sort of get sort of running amok if they're under bombardment by fire arrows, which Gondor's archers can shoot, so I'm keeping them back while I try to take care of the archers first. You can see some of my archers shooting. They don't really have really nice armor like Gondor's archers do, but I do have a lot more archers firing on the Gondor troops. Here you see some of my Beastmasters, and these guys are the camel riders. Kind of, again, like cavalry, so they can't really stand up against knights or heavy troops in combat, but they can throw these really nice javelins, and these javelins are also armor-piercing, which means they can do a good amount of damage. You can see that unit of Gondor's Citadel Guards is kind of thinned out. A lot of them are dead already. Okay, so here one of Gondor's marine units got sort of separated and isolated, and I saw that as a good opportunity to charge in a lot of my cavalry and hopefully cause a quick rout. There you can see the charge of the impact of the charge sends a few guys flying, and they're finally routing, which I was happy to see. But then here Gimli rushed up some of Gondor's heavy units, their citadel guard. Or no, sorry, that's their fountain guard. And I was trying really hard not to have my cavalry fight them, and I was trying to get them to turn around and run, but some units in this game have a sort of reckless trait, which means they won't really obey orders immediately. So that was bad. They took a lot of casualties there, which they shouldn't have. And you can see Gimli also charged in his general unit. Those heavy armored guys on horses. So now that general unit from Gondor has attacked some of my Corsair archers on my right flank. I'm trying to rush in some of my remaining cavalry there to help out, but at the same time, more heavy Gondor troops are rushing in, which is going to be bad news because, again, neither my archers or my light cavalry are really made for hand-to-hand combat. And yeah, they're running, so that's pretty much the collapse of my entire right flank. Wasn't too good. Okay, and here I thought I saw an opening because you can see there was a gap in the line, and I charged in that horse archer unit to try and attack some of Gondor's archers, but some of them got caught in the spearmen, which is bad. But some did get through here, and you can see they actually did manage to rout some of Gondor's archers. However, they took so many casualties from charging also into the spear unit that my horse cavalry are also now running. So that was a bit unfortunate. If I had just shifted them a bit more around, I could have probably kept attacking some more archers. And there they go, they're running off the battlefield. So yeah, at this point it's not looking good for me. I'm pretty much down to some archers and a few light cavalry, but here I decided to finally commit my Mumakil elephants and send them crashing to Gondor's lines. You can see they do a lot of damage, all these guys flying around. And let's see, we'll zoom in. So besides the charge, they also can do attacks, which kill a lot of guys. You can see right there that Mumakil just sort of demolished that part of the line. However, if they're not supported, they're not going to last very long against heavy infantry, even though right now they seem like they're having a great time sort of throwing guys left and right, charging around. But yeah, heavy infantry, if they swarm the elephants, they can definitely take them down. Which is why I then decided to charge in the rest of my army, who was pretty much out of arrows at this point anyway. So I knew this was kind of it was probably not going to work, but I didn't really have any other options. So there we go, my archers charging in for melee. You can see my elephants are dying one by one, although that was a bit of a glitchy death animation where he was still standing for a bit. Okay, and this will not be good because my archers are basically using their swords against these really heavily armored Gondor's citadel and fountain guards, so they're pretty much going to get slaughtered. And they're also kind of encircled by Gondor's troops, which isn't good either. So pretty much at this point, my troops routed pretty quickly. Okay, I don't know exactly when this debacle ended, but I think it's pretty soon. And yeah, there go the last of my elephants. They're running now. So my entire army is either dead or fleeing the field. So anyway, that was actually a pretty close game because my elephants managed to kill a fair number of people and I shot a lot of people. But anyway, thanks for watching that. And I'll hopefully put up some more commentary soon, either of the path or some other game.